Hello, this is Windows, and I'm going to be playing some Angband. Actually, a bunch of different versions of Angband. There is some news as far as Angband development goes, which is that the head programmer just added sound support to the the MSYS2 SDL2 version of Angband, which did not have sound support before. So that's super cool because that is actually the version it turns out I want to play. Um, Now, Angband is a free roguelike adventure game that you can download for free from rephial.org. That's rephial.org. I'll have these links in the description below the video. And it comes there with a precompiled Windows version, which I will show you now. Let's see, this is going to run a character for me. Let's do this one. Now this version, this is the standard Windows version. It supports graphics, and as you heard, it supports sound. There's a beholder who's probably going to mess me up pretty good. I've just been rampaging around testing sound and not paying any attention to what's happening to me. The beholder has sped himself up, I guess. There are various tile sets you can use. I haven't looked at some of these in a while. Let's see. So that's the original tile set, I guess, which is sort of weird looking. What if we widen that out a bit? Man, that is some... Wow. What if we do 4x2? Oh, yeah. Wow, that beholder is just a purple blobbo. The rings are hard to... This is crazy, man. This is some pixel art, I guess. I was getting messed up by a beholder before. Yeah, they just like... I feel very stupid. Is he draining my health? I think he is. Reducing... Yeah, gaze to reduce intelligence 12% of the time. I'm taking him down a bit. What else do we got here? Those are kind of grainy. That's a beholder. That gray mess of... That's kind of tough to read. Okay, let's increase the size here. That's pretty legible. David Gervais? David Gervais's tiles. That's not bad. Wait a second. What is that thing? A young multi-hued dragon. You can kind of see the rainbow colors. I like the tiny little beholder. What's this thing? Ethereal Drake. These are kind of nice. I'm not sure about the green dungeon. There's like just seaweed all over the dungeon walls, but that's not too bad. It's kind of charming. What else do we have? Nomads tiles. Let's do... oh boy. Those are very low bit looking. And then Shockbolt was the one I was on. There's a light version though, which is sort of a sandy look. I find that a little tough to... I don't know, it's just all kind of like you're just covered in sand. I love his beholder though. They're so cute. Those giant shiny eyes. Yeah, see, the monsters stand out really nicely in this dark gray dark set that he made. So this is the standard Windows version. I mean, it works. Like the issue, the only issue really I have with it, I guess, is that it's all in these separate windows, right? I mean, you can see these things, you can move them around, you can drag the sides to resize them and stuff. But like I asked if there was any possibility of like making or setting it to a dark, like a lot of Windows programs now have a dark mode option where you can, turn their menu bars to dark gray from the standard white or whatever. But that it apparently isn't going to happen for this. So you just got this huge contrast of these bars everywhere, and it's really I don't know. That's a little hard to take. Then it's really like if you want to make this kind of seamless, you can, but it's a big pain. I mean, I did it once, but it's anyway. It doesn't work very well. And stuff is constantly like selecting, getting over others, and then the bar shows up. And I don't know. Anyway, so it works fine. The sound is fine. It runs nicely, very speedily. The sound response is good. Keyboard response is quick. So that's all fine. But just the separate windows for everything is a little scattered, and then the white title bars that A, take up a lot of room, and B, are this sort of really annoying contrast. Not a huge fan of those. So I thought I would try to compile a version that could do graphics and sound in another environment, because Angband runs in a ton of different environments and different front ends. So this is the standard Windows front end. There's a front end. I don't know if it can. Well, yeah, it can run in Windows. Called SDL2, there's an SDL2 front end. SDL is I forget what it stands for, but it's like an open source thing that supports for programmers and primarily for game development, that lets developers utilize graphics and sound hardware from their game code, sort of across different platforms, across different like consoles and computers, and just different types of hardware. So quite a few open source games or programs are using SDL or SDL2 now, because it just provides a way for them to get graphics and sound effects. So there is an SDL2 front end that can use graphics and sound. There's and that works in a variety of platforms like Unix, Cygwin, and Windows. There's I guess that's the front end I wanted. So I was trying to see how I could compile SDL2 front end, because SDL2 I found runs in a single window, and it doesn't have these big white title borders and stuff. So that sounded like the way to go. So I tried to do that in Cygwin. Cygwin's really weird. Actually, first I got it running I couldn't do it in Cygwin. I couldn't figure out how it worked in Cygwin. I could get it to compile. I could compile a SDL2 front end version of Angband in Cygwin, which is a Unix-like or Linux-like environment for Windows. But I couldn't figure out how to run it. It would give me this error about just no graphics device available or something. I didn't know what to do about that, and I couldn't find anything about that on the internet. So I finally bit the bullet and installed the Windows subsystem for Linux, which is Microsoft's implementation of Linux on Windows, like the official Microsoft implementation of Linux on Windows, which is kind of spooky, and it seems like I don't really know anything about running actual Linux, but I think it's not as janky. I suspect it's not as janky as this is, because there is some jank to Windows subsystem for Linux. So to run it, once you've got it installed, I think to install it, you just do like WSL --install or something. I don't know. You can Google WSL and you get to the Microsoft site that tells you how to do it. But once you have it installed, of course you have to reboot, because this is Microsoft we're talking about. Then you can just run it from a command prompt by typing WSL. And it takes a second because this is Windows. So here we are. I'm going to change to my home, change to Angband, my Angband install. And it, it supports I mean, so I installed the default Linux distribution for WSL, which is Ubuntu. So I'm running, in theory, I'm running Ubuntu here through, I don't know, this abstraction layer or something, whatever. It's supposedly it's kind of Linux running in Windows right here, right now. So I pulled down Angband with Git and I built and everything, and it seemed to build. I got the SDL packages and I compiled, and that all worked. And I can run it in SDL. I can run the SDL2 front end in Angband, so let's give that a shot. The Linux SDL2 front end for Angband. So that's this. And it's, so it has, you have all these sub windows like you have in the Windows standard version, but there's no seams between them. They're seamlessly stuck together. I want to find a monster here so I can show you some of the other info windows. Come on. I'm only on, okay, here's a monster. So, and you can configure these as you like. So, and you can drag them around. So there's a little menu here that shows you, well, you can toggle them on and off with these little buttons up here. You can change what they do with this highlight menu here. You can change the font sizes all through here. Now the fonts, for some reason, in the SDL2 front end and in the Windows standard front end, you can't just use regular true type fonts. You have to use these bitmap fonts. That kind of sucks. The head programmer, Backwards Eric, on the forum a day or two ago did mention to somebody asked if there was a way to use true type fonts, and he told them how you can do it. He said it was a sort of messy way to do it in Linux anyway, where you can sort of remap a font with a command to the game or whatever. So you have to type this command in Linux to map the font to the game, or I don't know what the right term is. And then, but it's got to be like a monospace font. There's a couple of requirements specifically to have a font that can run. It can only bring up a list of so many, like 120 fonts, which should be, that's a lot. But I guess monospace is kind of a bummer. But that, I don't know if you can do something similar in Windows like that, and it sounded like it was kind of janky. I'm not sure you'd have to run that command all the time, or if in Windows if you'd have to do it from a script. I have no idea. Anyway, so I'm just using the built-in pre-compiled bitmap fonts here. You can pick different ones, but for like these sub windows, you don't have that much room, so you quickly run out of room. There's also a weird thing where, so you've got these tiles, I'm running you can select the tiles here as well. Now you can't tell this because I'm not even showing my mouse pointer, but the mouse response here is a little sluggish. There's a slight delay when I move my mouse before it highlights something. You can change the size of the tiles here, but what I found, because I would take screenshots of these and measure them in Photoshop, so you can get them to show at the correct actual native size of the tile set. This tile set is 64 by 64, or some of the tiles are 64 by 128. So this is the correct size for these. If you do change the scaling here, then like they get a little blurry, or if you size them lower, they get a little pixelated, and you're basically missing some of the art. And the weird thing is that if you change the font size to a font that is not a multiple of 8, so if I change it to, for instance, 9 by 15, then the aspect ratio gets weird, and you can figure out, you can just sort of play around with the size setting until you get it back to square. Like that looks square, right? But it's still not the correct size. It's a little tiny now, so it's probably like 60 by 60 pixels or something. And so the art isn't just, it's not as sharp as it should be, and it can't get as sharp as it should be unless you're running a font that's a multiple of 8. So that basically limits you to the 8x16 and for that one I would do 8x4. That's the correct size. It basically limits you to 8x16 font for the main window, or 16x16. That's basically your options. I guess you could do 8x8, but that's super tiny. And I can't read that. There's, anyway, there's a couple other things you can try to do to mess around with it, but so I think basically I'm sticking with 16x16 for now. Anyway, once you have that set, you shouldn't need to mess with it anymore. So what else? Well, so up in the upper right corner, there are these size and move buttons, and those are what let you move things around. So if you pick move, then you can click on a window and move it around. Stuff does tend to resize itself slightly when you pick it up, which is weird, but you can easily enough click on the size button, then stretch it to the border, and it'll go there and stay there. So it's pretty easy to set stuff up and move it around and to make it seamless. So I see now this is a little too wide. Arg. Because you can't, like, if you click and drag on the side of a window, it can, if you move slightly up or down, it can still change the size, which is a little annoying. I wish you could, like, if you wanted to change the width and height, it should make you grab in the corner, you know, like Windows does, but that's not how this one works. So this is the window, or the Unix version, and this would have been fine. I mean, it looks good. It's got the sounds, but there's a little delay. Actually, that was a big delay. So I slew that giant centipede, and he didn't make that generic monster death sound. And there I was, like, well through the door before it actually made the door creaking sound. Oh, you get confused so much in the first dungeon level. It's so aggravating. This is a really bad way to introduce newbies to the game. So I'm just stuck here confused. Would you get away from this stupid mold that keeps confusing me? Oh gosh, I'm still confused. Back to the mold. Oh good, I'm not confused. I don't really like that ding sound when something wears off, but I guess that's what we're stuck with. Confusion gas trap. Oh, it's not even mold, it's just a gas trap I blundered into. So yeah, anyway, there's this significant like if I go and bonk into this wall down here, like if I just run, oh great, there's something invisible touching me. If I just run straight to this wall down here, see how long that took to register the impact sound of me slamming into the wall? So it's a very delayed sound, and the movement is very slightly delayed. Not, I killed the invisible thing. Not super bad, but even just movement is slightly delayed. And this is running the Windows version, the SDL2 front end in the Windows version in Windows subsystem for Linux in Windows. I hope that in Windows there isn't this kind of delay, but or in Linux, if you're running native Linux without any Windows, I hope it doesn't have delay like this. But the Windows subsystem for Linux, when I'm running the compiled Linux version with the SDL2 front end, it's got this delay, and especially a sound delay. So that's just not great. So I had to go try to find something else. So what did I try next? Maybe I tried MSYS2 next, but maybe I had trouble getting that working. Oh, I did. I tried MSYS2 next, but I couldn't get the sound to work. It ran... Maybe I did MSYS2 first, actually. I don't remember now, but MSYS2 is a way to compile using the GCC compiler, the Linux compiler in Windows, and to build native Windows programs with it. And it's got this very slick text-based front end. It's just super slick system. I really like that. But I couldn't get the sound working when I compiled SDL2 front end of Angband in it, and I finally noticed I finally found the SDL2, the MSYS2 SDL2, or is it whatever it's called, makefile, the build instructions file that Angband reads when it's building that version, and it just said near the top in a comment that the programmer had left, it just said sound support to do. So it's not done. They never implemented the sound support when I was trying to do it. And I had posted about it on the forum. I said, look, I can't get the sound working. Does anybody know what I'm doing wrong? And then I followed up my own post after I found that. I said, oh, well, it says it's not done. So, well. But then Backwards Eric, the person who's been doing pretty much all the programming for Angband lately, he saw that, I guess, and he decided it was time to do it. So he spent a good chunk of the following day, turned out, adding sound support in for MSYS2, the MSYS2-compiled SDL2 front end of Angband. So that was added a couple days ago. Now it's not in the official code repository for Angband yet. He shared a development file for it from his GitHub code repository. So you have to grab that, and I'll put the forum thread for this and probably a direct link to his GitHub as well, his GitHub file for that in the description if you want to grab that. And that got sound working in MSL2. Now before that miracle happened and he put in that genius work to do that, I tried to get it. Well, I worked out an elaborate workaround to get sound working in Cygwin, in the Cygwin compiled version of the SDL2 front end of Angband. So I'll show you what you had to do. I'd been able to compile this SDL2 front end for Cygwin, but I could not get it to run, and Cygwin would just say, actually, maybe I can bring that up here. If I go to Angband here in the Cygwin terminal and try to run it from here, no available video device. And I tried looking on I found this problem months ago. I ran into this months ago, and I tried looking it up, tried Googling it, and I couldn't find anybody who knew how to do anything about this. I didn't even find it mentioned much, I don't think. So I was at a loss for what to do. I thought there's just some kind of video driver support thing that is not supported, and I don't know. But I don't even remember how I found this, but, well, yeah, I do remember. It was somebody asked the question on, what's the site where you ask programming questions? It's not SourceForge. What the heck is it? I forget. Anyway, somebody had asked this question they're getting an error, and how do you deal with this? And they're like, well, did you run your X server? And they were like, what? And I didn't know what that meant either. But it turns out you have to run this whole separate thing. In Cygwin, for Cygwin, you have to install 3 packages to get this running. You have to go to your Cygwin installer and install the xinit, the xorg-server, and the xlaunch packages. In addition to the SDL2 packages and all that stuff. So once you've got those installed, it'll actually install a couple programs on Windows as you install those packages through the Cygwin installer. And the one that we're mostly concerned about is xlaunch. So when you run xlaunch, I'm going to close this because I don't want this interfering somehow. And I'll close Ubuntu. Now, the fun thing about WSL, the Windows subsystem for Linux, you exit and then you're back in your just Windows command prompt. Thing is, though, that even though you typed exit and it says log out, it's still running something. It hasn't actually quit the Ubuntu I was running. So, like, I found that if this is all I've done, even if I close this command prompt, I think then when I put my Windows to sleep, it won't go all the way to sleep. It won't power down my monitor. My monitor would just stay on all night. It's so janky. So you have to do WSL-T and then the installation of Linux, or what's it called, distribution of Linux that you had been running. So in my case, Ubuntu. The -T is for terminate. So you have to specifically tell it to terminate the instance that you were running. And there's no confirmation, but now it's dead, and now my monitor will sleep properly. It's so goofy. Okay, so I've run xlaunch. This xlaunch thing is also called Cygwin X. It's for part of Cygwin X. And this is all I don't know what you call it, a simulation, an emulation, a re-implementation, I don't know, of the old X Windows front end for Unix. I mean, this is something I saw at Seattle University when I was a student there, when my friends were students there. I guess because I had moved to a different university by that time, but they had stayed at Seattle University, and I would go back to visit them, and they were hanging out in the computer labs, and the computer labs were running, I guess, running Unix. I had no idea what Unix was at the time. This was back in, 1998, I don't know, something like that. And because I'm old, and those computers were running X Windows for their Unix interfaces, which was basically just a Windows-like, thing with mouse support and multiple windows and stuff for these Unix computers. So this is simulating the Unix X Windows window interface, basically, because Cygwin by itself is just it's just that fancy minty terminal that I was running a few minutes ago. So this is what I figured out. So you have to run xlaunch, pick full screen. Then I need to start a program. I'm just going with the default xterm, which is a terminal. I wish I could run the actual Cygwin Minty terminal because that one looks a lot better. I'm not sure if I have. I tried a couple of these and they didn't work. So anyway, xterm was the only one I got working so far. Now, OpenGL is an interesting option. The SDL2 actually uses OpenGL for 3D, so I'm not sure if that would matter here. But anyway, I'm just going to leave that stuff checked and finish. Sure. So I have to do that every time I run this, and then now it's running a black screen that is basically just a blank SDL2 screen, I think. Or it's a screen that SDL2 can use, basically. So, and then this is basically a Cygwin terminal, a really janky looking one. So then I can do my regular Cygwin commands to run my Cygwin compiled version of Angband, which, let's see, I have to change my Angband directory, and then run Angband. And here we go. So this is running the SDL2 front end of Angband, compiled through Cygwin in this X Windows system that I've installed through Cygwin. So it looks just like the Unix front end, or the Linux front end, which makes sense because, well, it's all SDL2 anyway, but, Linux, Unix, all that stuff. And that would be great and all. The only problem is that it's still got the sound delay. See, it doesn't seem as delayed as the Unix build was. But it's a little delayed. See, not as much. I hadn't realized it's not as much delayed as the Linux version that I compiled in WSL Ubuntu, but it's still a little delayed. And I just wasn't really just, that slight delay was just irking me because I'm, I don't know, I'm a jerk. See, like that was a pretty big delay. That wasn't a delay. So, I don't know, it's weird. I mean, you know, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I just, yeah, you know, I didn't have any movement delay in the MSYS2, the one I'd compiled in MSYS2, and so I was just wishing that that one had sound support. Oh, well, okay, so there was another big problem with this version, and I forgot to mention one other problem that the Unix version has. The Unix version, if I alt-tabbed out of the Unix version and then back into the Unix version, no keyboard input would work until I hit the Alt key again. So it was like after alt-tabbing, I had to hit Alt again, and that's in the Unix SDL2 front end. So that's kind of annoying. In the Cygwin version, that doesn't happen. It doesn't get stuck having to retoggle Alt or something after Alt-tabbing, so that's good. The problem, though, that Unix did not have was, and I don't know if you can see this this X cursor, this X Windows cursor, but there's no mouse input. No, my mouse clicks do not register on the SDL2 front end, so I can't click the menu toggles in the upper left or upper right. I can't bring up the hover menu in the upper left. They would let me configure the windows, the sub windows. I can't click the sizing mode or the moving mode and move or resize the windows around. So my workaround for that was just to copy the configuration files written out. I think I set up my SDL2 front end in probably in the MSYS2 version, maybe in the Linux version that I compiled or something. So I had to set it up in another version, then copy those Windows layout files that version saves out, you know, where it remembers like where the various sub windows are and what their positions and sizes are. I had to copy those files into the Cygwin version and then just run that. And so if I ever wanted to change any of these window layouts, I would have to quit. I would have to go to the other version, configure it there, quit, find those files that it saved out for that version, then copy them, then paste them into my Cygwin installation of the game, then run the Cygwin version. And then, you know, that should have the update. So that's kind of a pain. I don't know why that is. I don't know if I have set it up wrong, if there's something I have to enable to get mouse support working for this X Windows or this Cygwin X or whatever it is interface. But yeah, I just can't. It just doesn't register my mouse clicks. So that's the Cygwin SDL2 front end. So got a couple problems. I guess, you know, I could deal with that because I wouldn't be changing my interface all the time, I suppose, once I had it down the way I liked it. But the slight sound delay was getting to me, and that was still a thing that was nagging at me. Anyway, so that's that. That's Cygwin SDL2 front end, and then there's this whole jankiness with the X server thing, and then to get out, for some reason I can't type in the terminal now once I've ended the program. So, and you can't just click, you have to click and hold and then drag down here and then quit, and it takes a second. It's all pretty weird. I mean, it worked, kind of. That was kind of impressive. So that was the big workaround to get Cygwin working. But fortunately, as I said, Backwards Eric, the main programmer for Angband, just went and did the long delayed implementation of sound support for the MSYS2 SDL2 version of Angband. So MSYS2 it's another compiling environment, sort of like Cygwin is a environment, but MSYS2 is just for, I guess I could run it here. It's just this terminal. I think it's the same terminal as, I think it's the Minty terminal. Yeah, it sure looks like it. That, yeah, it is. That Cygwin uses. That's a nice terminal. It's a lovely terminal. And it uses other code from Cygwin as well. I was reading up about it on Wikipedia, but it's, it lets you compile programs that can run outside of any other environment other than just Windows. Whereas Cygwin stuff you compile in Cygwin has to run through Cygwin. Like I was running that Cygwin compiled SDL2 front end, I had to run that through the X launch X Windows thing, which was a part of the Cygwin thing. So that, but once you can compile a program through MSYS2, you can just run it natively in Windows, which is super cool, and it seems to run without. So, I'll show you, but it doesn't have the response delay that I was getting with the Cygwin or WSL Ubuntu versions. I also just like, let's see, how would I do that? I like the interface for the MSYS2 thing. Like this is a command just to update the packages I have installed, I think. And it just does these super cool text progress bars. I mean, it's just so slick. Whereas like in Cygwin, you have to, and it's always being updated. With Cygwin, you have to run this separate GUI program. It's kind of clunky, really. And you have to keep downloading a new exe from Cygwin's website, I think it's cygwin.org, whenever they update that launcher. That's annoying. You don't seem to have to do that with MSYS2. Okay, I didn't count on such a huge update for whatever this is. It's updating compiler stuff and all kinds of jazz. Wow. So anyhow, yeah, so it was pretty amazing to me that Backwards Eric just went ahead and he just got sound working for the MSYS2 SDL2 build that I was able to get compiling. And I had to grab his modified code file and rebuild with that, and then it worked. So that was good, and I'll show you that as soon as I stop this long update that I did not quite count on. Oh, well, I think part of this is that I'm uploading a video in the background, so that's probably not helping. Jeepers. I mean, these aren't huge files. Yeah, it's just going a little slow. This is inconvenient. Normally it's not slow. Is there anything else I have not covered yet? We did Unix or Linux. We did WSL Linux. Well, that's what I meant. We did Cygwin. We did Windows Standard version. I tried to compile my own version of the Windows Standard version, which could, run and would not have delay, but I couldn't get that to compile. There were instructions for compiling it for Linux, and I also tried it in Cygwin, and I just could not get it to work. Oh, well, there is a bug. Yeah, that's it. There's a bug compiling the standard Windows version in the latest versions of Linux. What did I wrote down what Backwards Eric said. Yeah, there were some link things that wouldn't have been a problem if I'd used a certain command I could kind of work around. But then there was another error, so I could compile the standalone standard Windows version through, I think either Cygwin. I think I was mostly trying it through Cygwin or probably through Linux. But then it just wouldn't run. It would produce an error when I would double click the exe. And would I have been using Cygwin? Whatever I was using. Maybe I was using MSYS2. I don't remember. And he said I was probably using Linux. And he said the procedure entry point. Oh no, the procedure entry point could not be found message has been reported before. I didn't figure out what was causing it then. This is backwards Eric on the forum, except that it went away when the executable was built with a version of MinGW, that's the compiler, or MinGW, I guess, 5.0.3-1 in Ubuntu 18.04. Executables built with MinGW 7.0.0-2 in Ubuntu 20.04 triggered that error, at least for one person using Windows 8.1. Well, and I was getting the error using, a recent version of Ubuntu in WSL Ubuntu. So basically, current versions of the compiler, so in MSYS2 as well, I think, we'll just have a problem. There's some problem with the exes of Angband that they build, and you'll just get an error. So I could figure out how to revert. I guess I was doing it in WSL Ubuntu. So I could figure out how to revert my MinGW in WSL Ubuntu. Presumably there's a way to do that to an old version. That might turn out to be a mess. I don't know. But that would have been how I would have had to compile it, and that's apparently how the team compiles the official versions that you download from the website for the standard Windows version. But fortunately, I didn't have to do that because he just got sound working in the MSYS2 version. Okay, so MSYS2, I don't need the MSYS2 terminal to run it, which is nice because it is a standalone program. In fact, I made a shortcut, but I don't want to mess with that one yet, do I? No, because I could get myself killed. So let's go to my MSYS2 install, and I'll run this version with just a generic starting player. So this is the MSYS2 version that I built running the SDL2 front end. It has mouse support. The background's purple because I've loaded a custom, or I've set I did load a custom color scheme in the normal Angband color editor. So yeah, like when you hit a wall here, it's not really delayed. The movement is really responsive. If I go and kill a monster, if I open a door, it makes its door open sound right away. So it's basically just perfect. And huge thanks to Backwards Eric for getting it working. It's the SDL2 interface is just this lovely, seamless, black screen without weird borders. You can put borders. There's a border option if you want, and it's on by default. This borders setting, this toggle is on by default for the sub windows if you wanted it. I don't know why you would do that though. And it gets a little messy at the edges. You'd have to line it up perfectly. So it's on by default. I guess it might make things easier to see if you don't really remember what you were doing when you set up the windows. But yeah, it's just the non-bordered seamless black background is basically just what I want. It's just great. I do wish the font support was a little more flexible because now I have to run with this kind of ugly font for the main window. Like you can, why does that keep resetting itself? I wonder. You can bring up like compact. You can bring up a thing that looks just like the stats, and then you can put it over the ugly font that I don't like that I have to run for the main window to get the tiles to come out right. The pro, and it has its border on. The problem is that that'll block things, like blocks the text there for background things. Now you could say, well, I'm just, oh, and I didn't set it on top. You could resize the main window. So, oh wow. And then you can, there's an option in Angband to set sidebar mode 0 or O, and you just cycle that to none. And then, so you basically replaced the main window sidebar with this separate sidebar subwindow, which lets you use a different font, a non multiple of 8 font, which I find nicer looking, and it's not taking as much space. Or it wouldn't if I actually did this. So now that gives me more space for the map, or the main dungeon window, and so forth. That'd be cool, right? The problem is, and I asked about this on the forum, what if there's a way to do this or what people thought, but the problem is that it's no longer showing me the depth of the dungeon that I'm at, which is normally on the sidebar in the main window. See? So it's got all the other stats. The sub window has all the other stats, but it does not have the depth number, showing up at 150 feet or dungeon level 3. That's not in the sub window, unfortunately. So can't really use that sub window, which is too bad. Maybe somebody will figure that's worth changing at some point. I don't know. So yeah, this is a version I'm going to be trying to play, I guess. I don't think there's anything else to show in the configuration of it. I've set a slightly larger font in the recall window. So anyway, I have a shortcut set up just to run my main save file. So while I was testing the sound and sort of measuring the sound delay between various versions I'd compiled, I was just rampaging around. I'd copied my save file into these other installations I was building, and I was just rampaging around. I was on this level that was just packed with monsters, and I was just rampaging around hitting things to make sounds. And in one of those installations, I actually got killed. I think that was in the standard Windows version. There was like a shaman of some sort who cast 3, I think he must have cast 3 caused critical wounds or something at me that just did like 110 damage each. And I just died because I was just rampaging around, not paying attention. In this version, where I finally figured I would, end up playing for real, I happened to stop my rampage here. Actually, I was 2 tiles to the right, and I accidentally was messing around with more stuff and stepped 2 tiles west. But I happened to stop here, very close to this, which is an ancient multi-hued dragon, which is a level 53 monster. My character level is 33. It was actually down to 32 because I was rampaging around. I got drained, I think probably by the Beholder. I got drained down to 32, level 32. Something sent me down a level. I had been at dungeon level 35, and at some point I got sent down to 36 during this whole sound testing rampage I was doing. I've left treasure just strewn all over 2 levels now. But yeah, I almost ran into this ancient multi-hued dragon who is 20 levels higher than me. So I think that would have been a quick death. And I think I just need to tiptoe away in the other direction because I really don't think I can fight it. I don't know. I mean, in the Rogue Love channel here on YouTube has a playthrough of Moria that I watched a while back. And Moria is the predecessor to Angband. It only had 50 dungeon levels. But in Moria, an ancient multi-hued dragon could kill you in one shot, no matter how much health you had, no matter if you were at full health, whatever, no matter what kind of armor or magical resistances you had, because it could breathe poison gas. And the thing with the multi-hued dragon is they can breathe every kind of breath weapon that all the dragons have, so it can use all of them. So it could breathe poison gas among the others, and there was no resistance to poison gas. There was no magical resistance you could get to poison gas, so it would do full damage. And the ancient multi-hued dragon was such a high level creature that it would just cause more hit points of damage than you could possibly have, and you would just be dead. And in fact, is that how his... Well, anyway. So I don't know if that is still the situation. You can get poison resistance now. For instance, I have... I think it's my shield. Man, this font. My shield provides various resistances, including poison resistance. So I think probably the poison gas from a ancient multi-hued dragon, might not kill you if you had, a ton of hit points. You could survive one hit from it, maybe now in current Angband, but I'm not sure about that, and I'm definitely not, maxed out. I'm not a maxed out character in terms of hit points. I'm not close to, being the same level as this dragon. So it would probably still wipe me out in one hit. So I don't really want that to happen. Another interesting wrinkle about this using the tile set. So most of the tiles are 64 by 64, but you can see this dragon is 2 tiles high. His wings are basically another tile height above. So he's 64 pixels wide by 128 pixels tall. So is this giant rock, who is nothing to sneeze at, being a level 40 monster. And in this case, there is another creature behind the rock's wings. So that's a little messy. And then you can see him since I basically queried him. So that's interesting, but I do kind of like all these various monster graphics. So anyway, if I'm actually going to try to play from this point, I should try not to die. I've been rampaging all around this level, and when I was just testing sound and not paying attention to what I was doing, you can see that I got teleported at one point. I was fighting this huge... That thing to the far west was just these rooms just packed with monsters. And eventually somebody teleported me away, or somebody teleported me there, I guess. And then somebody teleported me back away. I don't know. And I came back here and almost ran into this gigantic ancient dragon. So yeah, that was interesting. Gonna try not to get killed by the dragon. You can see the threat level of this dungeon, which is in the lower left of the main window. It says, I forget what LF stands for. Anyway, the threat level is 9, which is that the maximum? It's quite high, and that's why it says, when I enter this level in the message window, you can maybe see it says, "Omens of death haunt this place, and there are good treasures here." Well, the omen of death would be an ancient multi-hued dragon, so I don't want to run into him. So here's a bunch of junk that I just left strewn about when I was just rampaging around. Now, sips of Miruvar are useful. They restore strength and constitution. Actually, I did have... So something weird happened, because when I was first copying this save file to these new installations I was building, I forgot to copy over the lore file, the lore.txt file that's in lib user or something. Anyway, somewhere. And the lore file is what stores your knowledge, your recall of the monsters that you've met before. So that'll tell you, you know, stuff that you've learned about their attacks. Like with this paladin, he can hit to attack 46, 12%, averaging at least 2 damage. So that's because I've fought one of them before and they attacked me with that. That's all stored in the lore file. I forgot to copy that over, so I didn't have my lore for these monsters that I had fought before. And I got my level drained down to 32. I got my intelligence drained to 8. And I think that was just how it was. And then I remembered to restore the lore file. And that was, as far as I know, the only thing I did. And then the next thing I knew, I kept loading the save file up just to look at I was basically messing with the interface and reconfiguring interface stuff. And at some point I noticed that my level was back to 33 and my intelligence was restored. I don't see how copying in the lore file could have done that. Maybe I happened to... No, because my rampage ended here in this version. I did not have it saved here in any other version, so I couldn't have copied back in the save file. So I don't know how my level and intelligence got restored when I didn't go anywhere in the dungeon. So I don't know what that was, but anyway, they're restored. Tin rod, I guess I should get that. Let's zap it at this guy. Well, he screamed in pain. That's good. Rod of lightning bolts, cool. $66 damage. That's not a ton. 23.3 damage average. That's pretty. It's pretty lame. For instance, my sword, my rapier, my little rapier does 196 damage per round average. So yeah, I'm not gonna keep this rod of lightning bolts. I mean, I could zap it at this. Well, no, I can't because it's a rod. It has to recharge. I'm gonna drop it. What was this thing? Oh, that was a sip of mirror bar. I didn't pick that up. I'll fire a bolt at him. Actually, how much do my bolts do? My bolts do, why doesn't it go? I have to... It's kind of a pain to get into the quiver. My bolts do an average of 67.7 per round. Okay, those guys are coming up. The ancient multi-hued dragon, according to my ESP, is still asleep, though. 2 rings of protection plus 9. Now, the default window layout or sub-window layout is... Whoops, why did that do that? I guess it reset it. That's weird. The default sub-window layout in like the Windows version, the Windows Standard version, has the item list. Oh, gosh, it resets the font and everything. But I kind of think this isn't going to be that useful for me. So I just gave myself a bigger font size and more space for the recall window because like it lists all these objects that I've strewn around the level, but I mean, it says at the bottom there, it says, and 31 others. And like, it's just not going to be really useful for me to glance at that list. That won't tell me easily what's right around me. It's just a mess because I've left a mess. And so yeah, I kind of figured I'm not gonna use that. I'll just give myself more room for recall. These things resize themselves. The main window kind of resized itself. Well, they do resize themselves a tiny bit when you click on them. Another cloak plus 1 light crossbow. Okay. Stone Troll. He's only level 25. Wait, what? Oh, heck. What else do we got here? Level 20 Ranger. A pile of 2 objects, you say? What the heck did I just pick up? Oh, shoot. Oh, gold pieces. That's good. Potion of resist heat. Quaff it, I suppose. Why not? That ranger just drop a crossbow too? No, he dropped a scroll. 3 scrolls of blessing? Heck. Oh wait, I just used a scroll of word of recall. Well, that's too bad. I meant to use a scroll of blessing. I'm such a schmuck. So all this treasure that I left strewn over there is gone. Because I'm about to get pulled back to the surface because I stupidly accidentally read a word of recall scroll. Now, what you would probably do to avoid that would be to inscribe words of recall scrolls with a warning, with a, what would you do? You would do like, inscribe. Well, and then you can set up auto-inscribe rules. Word of recall. I think you would do... Actually, I have no idea. It's some kind of code, basically, like exclamation point at R or something. I don't know. That's not it. I don't remember what the code is, but anyway, you can describe it with something that would ask you to confirm before you read one. That's probably not it. Yeah. I would have to go look that up on the internet. Well, dang it. Anyway, that dragon's gone, so that's probably for the best, I guess. Is there anything I need to get rid of here? I have 5 potions of true seeing. Oh, I have a potion I haven't identified. Let's give it to this guy. Mustard yellow potion. Potion of Constitution. Oh, dang. Restores Constitution and increases Constitution. Well, I guess I haven't maxed my Constitution, have I? No. Wait, what? Oh. Okay, well, that's cool. There's potions of restore life levels. Those are only 400. I guess I should get one. Because I think I'm still... Oh, wait, I'm not drained anymore, am I? Oh, no, I am drained. I guess I need some more scrolls of recall now. Oh yeah, and I have a Staphyslow monster that is out of charges. So you quaff this potion of Constitution. That should take me up to 1840 Constitution. Sweet. What does this sip do? Restore strength and constitution. I've just been dropping those in my home. I have 6 mushrooms. I've not identified these mushrooms, I guess. So Staff of Slow Monsters. That's the only one I have. I guess I probably can't sell it to him, can I? No. Actually, this is really handy. The tile sets show the names of the store. I could never remember. I had been playing just the ASCII front end in Cygwin, and and so the shops are just identified by a number, and I could never remember what the number corresponded to for what kind of shop. Wait, what am I doing? I am. Oh no, I don't need that shop. I need this magic item shop. That would probably work. If I sell my Staff of Slow Monsters, or give it, it should recharge it. It didn't. Dang. My Staff of Speed only has 1 charge left. Do I have any scrolls of, what are you charging up staves? No. I think I had to get those off the black market. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, no. What I need are scrolls of enchant weapon. Is there any... So let's see. Basically, you can get armor or weapons up to +10 by enchanting them. My, wait, does this elfstone, does that count as armor? No, that plus is something else, isn't it? Yeah. Like, my AC is 222. If I take off the +2 +3 star. Oh no, my AC did go down. Oh, so maybe I can use enchant armor on those. I could, in theory, enchant my gloves a little more and my boots a lot. I guess I might as well get those. Oop, what am I doing? I do need bolts. Is he not carrying bolts? Oh, wait a second. Now my, sheesh. Oh, it's just not showing my quiver now. I wonder why that is. Yikes. Control R. Oh, there it is. Did it not show my... Why was it not showing my quiver? Actually, wait. There we go. I thought that's where I would buy bolts. General store? Oh, yeah, okay. Give me 27. I left bolts strewn around 2 floors of the dungeon, too. Okay, so I have all these scrolls of enchant armor. But yeah, it's not going to let me use them on the star or the other thingy. Oh well. And they won't work on my cloak, which is already plus 40 armor. Probably won't work on the leather shield. Probably won't work on the brigandine armor or the helm. So basically, I can use them maybe on the cestus or the set of cestus gloves, or definitely on the boots. I was holding off enchanting the boots because I was hoping I would find some better boots. But I have not. Have I? Just no boots. It's a boot shortage in town. Well, maybe I'll just try. Well, it'll increase my AC easily if I just do it on one of the boots. Let's just do it. Did it work? Yeah, it did. Oh, it failed. At plus 7 and it failed twice. There it worked. So now I have 2 things at plus 8. Might as well try the gloves. Hey, it worked. Let's try the boots again then. Sweet. One left. Boots or gloves? Well, the gloves are probably better. It failed. Well, I'm up to AC 230. Cool deal. Yeah, so I can't recharge this staff of slow monsters right now. Oh wait, there's 5 scrolls of recharging. I sure can. What am I doing? With the cash register sound. So the problem is it could cause it to explode, but I don't have any other way to recharge it. I can't shop recharge it, it seems. So, here goes. It worked. I got 3 whole charges out of it. Okay. Where did those go? There they are. Okay. Oh, I already had 5 scrolls of enchant armor in here. Should I try those out? My +8s, which were failing regularly. I don't really care about these gloves or boots that much. I guess I won't. Well, so I bet my enchantment on my, or my inscription on the word of recall is not the correct one. It's not going to warn me. No. I should look that up sometime. Let me try. Well, I can uninscribe them, so I had exclamation at R. What if I do just exclamation R? I don't know. That doesn't seem right either. Come on. Dawn. I feel anxious. Threat level is 6. What do we got here? Sleeping Cloud Giant. That's pretty cool. Tile there. And then we got all these little energy hounds. Kind of look like cloud hounds. Breathing lightning at me, eh? Cloud Giant's level 36. He didn't last long. Got a Troll Priest. I wonder if this is one of the ones you cast. Yeah, cause serious wounds, 110 damage. He's asleep. Should I shoot bolts at him or should I rush him and hit him with my sword? I guess I'll try to rush him. Okay. Yeah, man. Cause serious wounds. That's some serious problem. I wonder if there's a resistance to cause serious wounds. Like, what kind of resist do you need for that? What's H life, for instance? Or would it be dark? Dark resist. I don't know. I don't know what some of those things stand for. What we got here? 5-headed Hydra. That's no problem, right? Level 28. Jeez, these crunching sounds covered me in acid, huh? Hey! Don't you run away. Jeez, that guy motored. How fast is that guy? Can carry up to 6 treasures. It doesn't say how fast it is. I thought everything would tell you how fast it was. 5-headed Hydra, kill at least 2. Extra heads steaming with acidic vapor. Normally found at depths of 1,400 feet. Level 28. Oh, moves quickly. Right, it's right there. Right. I'm good at this. Well, and then the AI is so goofy. It flees, you know, as if its life depended on it. Then it just comes right back eventually. That's what they all do. Stunned by an impact hound breathing force. Impact hound is level 35. I've not killed one before. May breathe force one time in 5. Didn't do much damage, if any, but it stunned me. So when I'm stunned, I can still move. Did it knock me back? I love that bolt pickup sound. Red dragon bat. Wand of stone to mud. Whoops. Ogre mage, level 32. Ooh, what do we have here? Ogre chieftain, level 30. And just some kind of black ogre. We got some regular ogres. Oh, we got a bunch of ogres. Hey, there's a staff of sleep monsters. I guess I don't care about that. That's a good bunch of trolls. I mean, I'm just gonna shoot bolts at you guys. These guys are level 26. That's not a problem. Hey! Energy hounds. Well, they're only level 18. Oh, there's a ton of them. That's a good sound. Troll priest is level 34. Oh, they cause serious wounds. Let's kill him full of bolts. Wait a second. Why is he not taking a lot of damage? I forget how to set the target. I just always use tab. What's that guy? Troll scavenger. I've killed 22 of them. 27. Level 27. That's the wrong button. There's a whole bunch of different trolls. Cave troll. Hey, you're not a troll, you're a cloud giant. Oh, large iron chest. So... Summoning runes, what does that mean? So I hit O to open the chest. I picked the lock. I failed once. I picked the lock. I was enveloped in a cloud of smoke. And then all these guys appeared. Oh, that's what the summoning runes was. It told me what it was trapped with, and I didn't realize what that meant because I'm dumb. And there's a unique. Did it summon a unique, or did this guy just pop out of the room? Nair the dwarf. That's a weird name. He's got an exclamation mark in his name. Or that's an I, but it looks like an exclamation mark. Actually, the font is weird. Look at the... Wow, that's messed up too. Thar, but what is that letter that it's not showing me? Is this a bug? I don't know. Uh-oh. So, yeah, that's one problem with the SDL2. Like task switching, I don't know if that's because I ran Photoshop. So I can hit Control R to refresh. It only refreshed a little bit. There we go, a little more. I like toggle these. No. Well, one way to fix that is to quit and restart. I don't know if that's a bug with the game or just a SDL2 thing or what. So this guy's font is weird. Or I think some of the characters are weird. It's not telling me what level he is. Which oh no, he's level 17. Oh, right. Well. Am I not hitting him? I missed him. My XP got drained again. Okay, there's dead. Hey! What's that guy? The font is messed up, man. I wonder if this is an SDL thing. Uh-oh. Oh, see, it didn't get... didn't have to have redraw problems that time. Whoops. What is that? Spirit troll. Weird ghostly troll-like being. Level 40. Invisible and cold-blooded. That's a cool graphic. Can pass through walls. Cannot be stunned, confused, left, or held. Jeez. Let me kill this dragon. How about that? Alright, spirit troll, it's you and me. Well, and these hounds. I got grazed. Hit by something sharp. Oh, what would that have been? Is there an invisible? Well, he is invisible, but I can see him with ESP, so why... Recharge or wear off or whatever it is. Hey. Oh, he ran. Oh, he's going through walls. Dang. I hit the wrong button. So I'm using a split keyboard now, which means my down left movement key is split on the other side, and I keep forgetting hitting the extra wide N button instead, which moves me down, and that's probably going to get me killed at some point. Got him. Glaive of Venom. Steel shot boots of speed. +3 speed. So I'm wearing these boots of slow descent. Oops, what did I do? Which give me feather falling, but feather falling, that only really stops you from falling into, taking damage from falling into pit traps, which don't do much damage anyway. I think that's all. I think that's all feather falling does, effectively. So I should probably get these boots of speed. So, boots of speed. I'm fast +3. That seems cool. Like, I was getting, or now I'm getting 4.7 blows per turn. Without them, I'm getting, 4.7. So it doesn't increase my attack speed. I guess it increases my, what does it do really? I mean, I guess it increases my total turn speed. I don't know. Like my rapier is doing 196.5. If I put on those boots of speed, 196.5. Well, okay. Well, I guess that's cool. The dagger Brangolf. Oops. That came out of the chest. Short 2-edged blade, perfect for thrusting. Yeah. Plus 18. Plus 18 damage. I would be doing 239.9 per round. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's, 40 more than I'm doing now. And it provides protection from fear and confusion, resistance to lightning, cold, and fire. Can't be harmed by acid. See invisible. Wow. Holy cow. That's sweet. That's kind of like almost the perfect weapon for me. Yeah, give me Brangolf. Sweet. These guys are in trouble now. Ring of damage, but it doesn't say what damage. Giant army ant. I killed some of them. Skeleton troll. Ah, heck. Ah, heck. You jerk. I wanted that friggin' ring. Is that a vampire? Sure is. He's sleeping. Let's get out of here. Master Thief blinked. Said he cackled evilly about traps. So he set up a trap and then teleported away. I almost got hit by this stupid dart trap. Well, I need to zap my rod of disabled traps. Oh, the vampire woke up. Gosh dang it. I got the Master Thief. What the? A soft twung? I'm blind. Black card. Vampires forest destroyed. Ooh, amulet of searching. Oh my gosh, that shoved me back. The force does shove you back. Ah, it's booting me down the hall. This kind of sucks. It's gonna shove me into that friggin' trap. Stop it. Okay, you can't shove me into that trap now at least. Wow. These guys are a pain. Keep it up, punks. Oh, that was just disenchanter mold. I just want to get back to that thingy. I came through here, okay. Oh, was it that mage who sent me away? Probably was. Oh, it's a ring of damage plus 11. It didn't show me that before, I don't think. Oh, plus 11, sweet. I have no room, no. Okay, well, no. How do I take stuff off? Take stuff off. Take off my ring of damage plus 10, or one of them. Get this one. What? Oh, shoot. I screwed that up. Drop scrolls of blessing. I forgot to use those. Wield the ring of damage plus 11. Sweet, man. Get the scrolls of blessing. Don't read a recall scroll accidentally. Okay, well, I need to go anyway. The heck is that guy? Stone Giant. Level 33. Oh, that guy came out of nowhere. I love how they have these. So you don't get that in the ASCII version. You don't get these double-sized looks for creatures in the ASCII version. Everything is just one character high. I mean, some things are capital letters, but they don't really use those for large things necessarily, do they? Doesn't strike me anyway. The Pukal Man. I don't remember these. Maybe I killed the other two in my rampage. Slower confuse. Stumpy creature carved from stone. Hey, there was a misty potion under there. That's a really good sound effect for a scroll of blessing. Oh, I meant to check what the mushrooms are, heck. I have a misty potion. I haven't even explored much of this dungeon. I guess I can just drop this rapier, because I mean, it's nowhere near as good as this dagger. This dagger's amazing. My good old rapier served me well, but it's been made completely obsolete. So these boots, I think, well, Yeah, slow descent, that's all it does, really. It doesn't, yeah, I don't need it. Drop the boots. All right. Well, that's interesting. So in my interface window in the upper right there, in the sub window, it shows the potion but not its color. Maybe that's what this does. Where was that? Show flavors and object descriptions. Yes. No, it's still not showing it. Oh, it shows them for the ones I have in there. I don't want that. What I kind of wanted to do is show the flavor for the potion that I have not identified. Because if I had another one, it would just say another potion, probably. That's kind of weird. Whereas it doesn't here. That's weird. Why would it do that? Also, I want to get a screenshot that shows both of them, but it doesn't seem to want to let me do that. Nope. I don't really want to enter bugs. It's a pain. But some of this stuff seems a little weird. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, I'm going to stop there. That's good. So I got a sweet new dagger, an amazing dagger. Got some more armor, some nice boots of speed. That's pretty good stuff. Didn't get killed by the dragon, although I kind of accidentally teleported out of that whole level. Got to look up how the warning. So, and then you would set, if you knew the inscription to do, you would do an auto inscription setup. And like auto inscribe your scrolls, or set them to be auto inscribed so that whenever you got new ones, they would get auto inscribed with the, warn me before I read this thing. So I gotta look up the code for that. It's so obscure to me as a noob. I don't know how they expect anybody to know that. Okay, well that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is the MSYS2 compiled SDL2 front end for Angband with sound and graphics and no delay in Windows, and the sound is a brand new feature, which this particular version, the MSYS2 compiled SDL2 front end, did not have the capability of sound before, but that was just added thanks to programmer Backwards Eric. So thanks very much, Backwards Eric. That's really sweet. And this is a super sweet front end. It does blank on me sometimes after maybe it's just when I run Photoshop. I don't know. Something blanks it after I task switch and I ran Photoshop or something. But that's okay. Other than that, pretty good. I'm enjoying all these crazy character graphics and weird sound effects. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I will get out of here. And I'll have to do something with these bug photos I've taken. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Good night.